Yeah, now, of course, the Palestinian territories are broken into two major parts, the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. The Gaza Strip has a population of about 2 million people, almost half the population. The West Bank, a slightly higher population. Obviously, the Gaza Strip in absolute devastation at the moment, but still controlled by Hamas, still controlled by this Islamist extremist terrorist organisation. Yet your former colleague in Parliament, Tony Burke, the Immigration Minister, doesn't seem to see that as an impediment. Here he was on Sky News yesterday.
There have frequently been countries where part of that nation has been occupied by a terrorist group, and we haven't ceased to recognise the country. Both Syria and Iraq had a long period where parts of those countries were being occupied and realistically controlled by ISIS. It didn't stop us from recognising and having diplomatic relations with those countries themselves. So, you know, there's a fair bit of precedent on this.
Mike Kelly, how realistic is that assessment? These are existing countries where parts were taken over by terrorists. He's talking about recognising a country while half of it is in the hands of terrorists.
Yeah, look, this is really a bit of sophistry here, to be frank. I mean, we're talking about we're not removing recognition for countries that are in this situation. We're in a position here where we can actually use diplomatic leverage to actually achieve the core values of the Labor movement. All of those things that I mentioned, you know, those are the things we have a chance to shape here. If we just push ahead with recognition in this situation for a location that doesn't even meet the international law standards to be a state, to be frank. But if we do that, we're giving away the ability to actually shape an environment that will be something hopefully better than all of the train wrecks and, you know, basket cases we see in the Middle East and North Africa, aside from Israel and Morocco, perhaps. So, you know, this is a chance to advance those Labor values, the sort of values that we want to see in a liberal democracy. You know, liberal democracy is under a massive siege globally at the moment through particularly all this information warfare. But the VDEM Institute of the Gothenburg University highlighted that 10 years ago, 48% of the world was living under autocracies. Now it's up to 71%. There's only 13% left of us living in liberal democracies. We should be digging in here and fighting for democracy to really get some roots in that region where it's been denied for so long. So use this leverage to achieve those kind of outcomes.
And just briefly, what does this say about the Labor government's attitude to the US alliance? Will it damage that relationship?
Yeah, well, the US obviously very hard over. They have quite a realistic view at the present time on the situation there. And look, you know, if they're determined to go ahead with this, I would say at least please consider making the continuing recognition conditional on achievement of these requirements that we should have, and in particular, release of the hostages. If we don't do that, we're just abandoning them. And they're really forefront of my mind right now. We've seen the horrific images of how they're being treated and misused for propaganda purposes, but it's just appalling. And we should really make that front and centre, put pressure on Hamas here, don't reward them.
Well said, Mike Kelly. Thanks so much for joining us again. Mike Kelly there, who served his country in the army in the Middle East, served his country in politics as the Defence Material Minister for Labor, and he's always worth listening to on these issues. Pretty disappointed with where the Albanese Labor government is going at the moment.